we're all super excited about Baldur's Gate 3 coming out, and I thought, well, how could we actually take a little bit of preparation to see if we can, well, imagine our class, our race, our character. Um, a lot of changes have been announced for the game, which are not yet, visible to us. They're just there in the notes. But today I actually stumbled across something which I found quite useful. So credit goes to user SmokkeHearb, who posted 9 hours ago that he has made a BG3 character builder which incorporates all the latest node changes that we have from Larian Studios about what the game is going to be like, how it's going to be different from the current patch, and what things to expect. That obviously also includes a lot of unconfirmed things, some rumors here and there, but essentially this is the best information that we have right now. So this user has actually made a builder which I would like to spend some time with to go through to see what we can do and actually try to build up a fighter, because that's the character I will be playing in the game. And go through a little bit of the different options. We know that the races have been expanded. We know that the way that the stats are attributed have been changed. So all in all, we just would like to see what is it going to look like in the end. So this is the builder. It's very basic. Clearly, it's nothing special from a UI standpoint, but it gets the job done. So we're gonna go a little bit back and forth here to look at our different options and to see what could a really good fighter look like. So the first thing I want to do here is select a race. Now, one of the things that have been mentioned is that the attribution of stats are going to be decoupled from the races following the latest D&D books. That's how they would like us to use stats, because that obviously gives a much bigger leeway for attribution of making a character that you like from a race standpoint, not just picking something that is best fit for your class and just going with that. Especially important in a mechanical game like Baldur's Gate 3. So all these options are essentially based. We're gonna have to base them on the on the special skills that they provide outside of the stats. So if we take a look at something like a tiefling, for example, we'll take a Zariel tiefling. So here you can see there is actually nothing listed under the ability scores, and under the race features we have the things that we should focus on. Now remember I said we're going to be making a fighter today, so what would be some good things for a fighter? Well, clearly you want to be able to close your ground to the enemies fast. You would like to be able to see in the dark, because when you're up there, it really makes sense for you to be able to see what's going on. You get some fire resistance, and that's actually it. Thaumaturgy, it gives you an advantage on intimidation and performance checks as a bonus. So performance, probably not so important. Intimidation, quite useful. So Azariel Tiefling, definitely an option. Now, something else that we have going for us is Half-Orc. And Half-Orc is surrounded with quite a bit of unknown information. We don't really know a lot about what's going to be happening. We have the Relentless Endurance and Savage Attacks, which have not been confirmed. But when you score a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice one additional time and add it to the extra damage of the critical hit. Now that is huge. If you couple that with something like the Champion's special ability, which I think has been mentioned, that you can crit on 19s and 20s, this is actually, this is a very good combination. So we'll have to see where Half-Orc lands in the end, because Half-Orcs do have dark vision. They have same base racial speed as the Tiefling we just looked at. They also are rumored to have proficiency intimidation skill, just like similar to the Thaumaturgy with advantage. Obviously not the same thing, but down the same alley. And then just these two super powerful abilities, I think, which just torpedo the Half-Orc up there as a candidate. Another one to look at probably is the Dragonborn. So with the Dragonborn, we have all these different things, and essentially the things that make them different here are the different resistances. So if we take green Dragonborn, for example, it's going to be with a poison breath, and they will have a poison resistance. So, you know, this is more of a flavor thing, not really important. They don't have any dark vision, they don't have anything, so if you really like the lore, if you like the breath weapon, obviously that's a very special thing with great AoE at the front lines, so very useful for melee character. But I think it's really a matter of taste what you will choose among these. Now let's take a look at the dwarves for a second, and taking a look at the mountain dwarf. So they also have the same. They are slightly slower, which I see as a disadvantage for the fighter, but then they have the dwarven resilience, which is advantage against poison. A pretty mediocre selection. On the dwarf side, we have superior dark vision. So this is really something that is for deep underground fighting. I don't know how useful it's gonna be. Proficiency in the perception skill, nice to have. And then the advantage on throwing saving throws against being charmed. So just to go back a little bit and saying, okay, if half-orc is not something we can do, maybe check out Githyanki as well. So they have an extra proficiency in a skill and weapon of choice. Again, this is a bit unknown here, that lasts until the next long rest. Will it mean that you can redo them after every long rest? If that's so, that's extremely flexible. You can even, like, if you're facing a difficult encounter, you can maybe tweak some things, rest up a little bit. So there is some flexibility there. But I think that, looking at these things, if the half-orc is not something that's going to be in its full form, assuming that, then I think let's just take this aerial tiefling for now and try to proceed and see where we're gonna land. So obviously this will not be my character's name in the end, but we can continue here. Background choices. Obviously soldier springs to mind immediately. We have the athletics proficiency and intimidation proficiency. It suits up nicely with the thaumaturgy thing, and this probably speaks a little bit against the, there was also intimidation proficiency coming in from the orc. Other options are probably, just looking at this guild artisan, if you want to be more into talking, outlander for a more outside thing. But I think soldier, definitely athletics and intimidation, very classic fighter skills. I think that's just for the sake of this exercise, this would be something we'll be picking up. So like I said, I'm interested in making a fighter. So let's go through briefly what a fighter can do. We have the HP, so 1 maximum hit points, 10 plus constitution modifier, and 6 plus con modifier. No surprise here, con and strength are going to be our most important stats, as it's also confirmed here. We will not be going for Eldritch Knight as the subclass. We'll be going probably with Battle Master. We'll get to that in a bit. But other than that, has all the armor proficiencies, has saving throws proficiencies in these skills, martial weapons proficiency, and I think pretty known, competent in the melee. Now here's where it gets interesting. There are different fighting styles that you can choose as a fighter. And for example, we have dueling here. So I think archery, it's more if you want to make a ranged fighter. And this is not exactly what I had in mind. Defense, this is just, a solid one to say that, it just gives you more life, more safe, more tanky in the front lines. Dueling, so this is just like for one weapon only. I don't think that's very appealing. but of course you get the +2 bonus damage. Great weapon fighting. You roll a 1 or 2 on damage die for an attack. With the 200 melee weapon, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. So this gives you an extra option to say, you know, you have that one swing with a great weapon. You really want to make it count with that like big die. So let me just re-roll this and see how that goes. So I think that's a very interesting one to look at. Protection. Having a shield, you get a disadvantage to an enemy who attacks one of your allies when you're within 1.5 meters. So this definitely counts on you having 1, preferably 2 melee characters in your party, so you can utilize this and be the real tank. And then 2 of them fighting for dual wielding. I think for this prototype we'll be making a 2-handed weapon fighter. So we'll make great weapon fighting and pick it up here. Now on the subclasses, like I said, on the champion, actually the only thing we know here is that, again, not confirmed, but your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. So if we do get the things from the half-orc we talked about, then this like half-orc champion makes a really nice couple, so to say. But let's just take a look at the Battle Master, because it's the one that is actually more fleshed out. We have the superiority dice and we have the battle maneuvers. Superiority dice, you gain 4 of them, they are d8s, and then Battle Master can maneuver using these dice, and then you can regain all the expended superiority dice after a rest. So what does a maneuver do? We can choose 3 battle maneuvers. And basically here are a couple of things. We have the menacing attack. Spend a superiority dice to deal weapon damage +1 d8 and possibly frighten the target. Pushing attack, so yeah, you can shove someone. You can rally, expend a superiority die to bolster the resolve of a friendly creature. Riposte, a creature misses you and with a melee attack, expend a superiority die to retaliate with a powerful attack. It's very good. Trip an enemy or disarm an enemy. So yeah, this is basically adding an extra layer of tactical approach to your combat, and I think that Battle Master is really good subclass for someone who wants to maybe, you know, invest a little bit more in making sure that you can gain an extra edge against your opponents in combat. So I think we'll be sticking to Battle Master for the moment for this session, and then see how that goes. Then the juicy part. We have the ability scores that we can assign freely, and like I said before, we'll have strength and we'll have constitution as our primarily stats. So let's just go out and max out those. So 17 is going to be the cap. Gonna put 16 in con as well, because it's actually 15 cap and then plus the bonus that you get. Now we have 9 points remaining. So what kind of armor will we be wearing? Well, probably not the heaviest of the heavy armor. So maybe we'll need some more here as well to maybe get like 1 or 2 bonuses for the armor class. Wisdom is very good for stuff like perception. So maybe we'll have another character which will be good at that. But I think since we have some bonus grant by this as well, it would be nice not to get penalties for it at least. So maybe you can get it to 12. And here you can start tweaking things. You can say, okay, maybe, you know, it's fine that we get this bonus. Maybe we will need someone else. Maybe we would like to be better at intimidation. Again, in this game, you get intimidation on charisma. You know, there are all these alternate rules. Who's getting it for strength? This doesn't really apply. So, you know, we'll have to take a look and see. Maybe you want to say, okay, so actually all the way down with wisdom and then max out charisma. Maybe even at expense of, you know, say strength, doing something like this. This is also an option. Intelligence is definitely not going anywhere with that. Like it's completely, not really useful for anything. But we'll totally be skipping that one. So I think it will be between wisdom and charisma to see where we want to benefit the most. And then we could choose 2 skills to have proficiency, and I think definitely we'll be picking acrobatics for this one. And then depending on if we go with wisdom, there are a couple more options. We can go with insight, always a useful skill. We can go with survival. So there are these options here. Yeah, I think right now I'm leaning more towards a more of a charisma edge, even though it doesn't really give that much overflow, that much synergies. I think that that this build would really work, and then it will allow us to use the maximum of our skills here to get a good start. Yeah, so I just wanted to showcase this this really helpful tool to try out. Again, once again, credit to user SmokkeHearb for making this builder, and you can try it out yourself at bg3builder.site. Please keep in mind there are a lot of unconfirmed changes here, so remains to be seen. The game releases in literally a week, maybe less. So we'll have to see what kind of shape the game will be in by then. So let's wait and find out what happens.